The stars were quiet, too quiet. Commander Ryan stood on the cracked surface of Moon 17, looking up at the black sky. Oh, no clouds, no sound, just the eerie silence of space. Her small rebel fleet, barely 12 ships, was hidden in the rocky valleys. Below, they were wounded, low on fuel, and had no backup. The Caravi Empire had found them. She turned to her second-in-command, a tall, lizard-like alien named Vex. Any signals? Vex shook his head slowly. Nothing, Commander. The Empire is close. We intercepted a message they know we're here. Ryan clenched her jaw. She had no more options. They had run for weeks, hiding in asteroid fields, abandoned colonies, and dead zones. Now, cornered on a dying moon, the end was near. In the distance, one of the older rebels. A four-eyed historian named Thalos sat beside a small fire, away from the command tents. He was staring into the flames, whispering to himself. Ryan walked. Over curious. You're calm for someone about to die, she said quietly. Talos looked up, his face tired but peaceful. Do you know the story of the human ship? Ryan raised an eyebrow. What story? He smiled faintly. Long ago, before the Council ruled the stars, before even the Caravi were strong, there was a species called humans. Oh, they were strange. Dangerous. Brilliant. But they disappeared. No one knows why. Some say they left. Some say they were destroyed. She crossed her arms, and the ship. Talos leaned closer. They built a warship. Not just any warship. A machine so powerful. It could wipe out fleets with a single thought. It was said to be alive. Not just metal, but something more. Mind. A spirit, it was called. Oblivion. Ryan almost laughed. You believe that myth? Talos nodded slowly. The Caravi fear it. That's why they hunted humans to extinction. The Council erased all records, but the whispers survived. Ship was never found. Some say it still drifts in the dark. Watching. Ryan looked at him for a long moment, then shook her head. We need real hope, not bedtime stories. But even as she walked away, the words stayed in her mind. Hours passed. The rebel camp went silent, everyone preparing for the worst. The sky was still black. No stars moved. Caravi would come soon. Vex ran into the command tent, his face pale. Commander, you need to see this. She followed him to the control console. The technician was frozen in place, staring at the screen. Ryan frowned. What is it? He pointed. There's something out there, near the asteroid field. It's not moving, not transmitting. But it's huge, bigger than anything we've seen. She looked at the scan. It showed a massive object, dark, cold, no power signature. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a rock. It was just... There could be debris, she said. No, Vex whispered. Debris doesn't stay in perfect orbit. And it's scanning. The room went silent. Ryan stepped closer. Kind of scan. Old tech. Really old, but efficient. Almost like it's reading our minds. She didn't like that, not one bit. Send a probe. They launched a small drone toward the object. It flew for 5 seconds before vanishing. Not destroyed, not jammed. It's gone. Then all screens went black. Every system in the rebel base shut down. Lights flickered. Generators died, even personal. Comms were silent. It lasted only 6 seconds, but felt like a lifetime. Then, suddenly, everything turned back on, and the massive object was gone. Ryan whispered, Where did it go? Before anyone could answer, a new alarm blared. Commander? Look. On the long-range scope, above the moon's orbit, an entire Caravi fleet. 20 ships, cruisers, carriers, fighters. They were arriving early. Ryan grabbed the mic. Prepare all ships for evacuation. We move now. But before they could launch, something strange happened. The Caravi ships stopped. No movement. Number firing. No shields. Just silence. Then, one by one, they exploded. No sound, no warning. just bursts of flame in the sky. In less than 10 seconds, the entire fleet was gone. Everyone stared. No weapons were fired. No trace of energy. It's just complete instant destruction. Ryan felt cold. This wasn't war. This wasn't strategy. This was something else. Vex turned to her, his voice shaking. What did that? No one answered. Then a new signal came through. Audio only. It was a voice deep calm, not quite human. Hostiles terminated. Scan complete. Searching for primary directive. Thalos stepped into the tent, his eyes wide. It's real, he whispered. The Oblivion has awakened. Ryan looked out at the sky where the fleet had just vanished. Whatever that thing was, she muttered. It wasn't a myth anymore. The council hall was silent. 12 leaders from 12 powerful species sat around a dark, circular table. Holographic displays floated above them, showing the wreckage of the destroyed Caravi fleet. Not one ship survived.
Oh no.
Distress signals. No black box messages, just floating debris and static. High Chancellor Virex, leader of the Curvy Empire, stood at the center. His voice trembled with rage and fear. This was not a rebel weapon. This was something else. The other council members whispered to each other. Some looked scared. Others looked curious. A tall insectoid delegate clicked its mandibles. We've received one fragment of data. From an escape pod Admiral Trex's pod, a video played. In the center of the table, a Carvi admiral sat strapped inside a pod, breathing hard. His face was covered in sweat. Council, he gasped. It's not a rebel trap, it's real. I saw it. A ship. No, a monster. It wasn't alive, but it wasn't dead either. No energy signature. No hull markings. But for a second, just 1 second, I saw writing. The footage flickered. Then, a blurry frame. A giant black vessel, covered in blue energy. Ancient human symbols glowed along the side. One word. Oblivion. The video ended. No, one spoke. Then the Varnathi ambassador leaned forward, voice slow and cold. This matches an old band record. A ghost ship. Human-made. Never confirmed. Hidden from archives. Virex slammed his hand on the table. Humans are extinct. The insectoid delegate replied. Then who is piloting the ship? All sat in silence. The council's highest secret keeper, being known only as Archivist Drone, stood from the shadows. I warned you all, the council turned. Drawn's voice was soft, like wind through bones. Long ago, we tried to destroy. Them, the humans fought back not with numbers, but with terror. They created the Oblivion, not to win, but to make sure no one would ever try again. Virex sneered. Then why didn't it destroy us back then? Because the humans locked it away, Drone said. Even they feared what it might become. Room darkened. Drone looked around. If the Oblivion has awakened, then something has changed. Far from the council hall, in the darkness between stars, the ship moved, silent, alone. It made no sound, used no light, left no trail. Inside, the core AI flickered to full awareness. Its voice echoed through empty halls. Directive. Incomplete. Awaiting human authorization. It scanned for signals, patterns, codes. It found one faint. Ancient coming from a dead planet in a nearby sector. A rogue mercenary crew known as the Varen Syndicate picked up the signal. They had been hunting old wrecks for years, selling war tech to the highest bidder. The captain, a scarred woman named Kale, leaned forward in her chair. This isn't normal. This is deep Earth code. Hidden. Buried. Her engineer, a cybernetic slug named Zix, scanned the waveform. It's not a beacon. It's a warning, but it's calling something. Kale narrowed her eyes. We follow it. Back in the council. Chambers. A plan formed. A bounty. It's the largest ever offered. 10 trillion credits. For any ship or crew that could locate and neutralize the human ship. Thousands of hunters accepted the mission. Greed pushed them forward, but they didn't understand. They were chasing They weren't hunting a ghost. The ghost was hunting them. The Varan Syndicate reached the signal source. A dead world, cracked, burned, orbiting a dying star. The signal pulsed below the surface. They landed and found ruins in ancient Earth steel, rusted and half-dash buried. As they explored deeper, they found a chamber sealed by human encryption. Zix cracked it with an old codebreaker. The door groaned open. Inside was silence, dust, bones, and then a hum. Lights flickered on. At the far end stood a dock. Empty dot or so, they thought. Then the wall cracked open, and something massive shifted behind it. They saw part of it. It's just a glimpse. Black metal, blue runes. A sleeping god, Kale whispered. That's not a myth. Then a voice echoed through the ruins. Unauthorized life forms detected. Defense mode initiated. Turrets rose from the walls. The ground shook. The air froze. Kale yelled, "Run!" But it was too late. The ship had awakened. Its core flickered. Its ancient memory returned. Directive re-engaged. Terminate all hostiles. Panic spread like fire. Every news network in the galaxy now had the same headline. Unknown superweapon destroys Imperial Fleet Council, places highest bounty in history. Some said it was a rogue AI. Others believed it was alien tech from beyond the rim. But a few those who knew the old stories said only one word: oblivion. Oh, and that word was enough to freeze the hearts of even the most powerful. The council gathered again, this time behind locked doors. The air was tense. Everyone spoke at once. This is your mess, Vyrix. You hunted the humans too far. They were extinct. And what is piloting that ship? At the head of the table, High Chancellor Vyrix looked furious, but underneath, he was scared. He slammed his claws on the table. We offered 10 trillion credits. Hundreds of bounty ships are already searching. We will find it. Drone, the quiet keeper of forbidden knowledge, stepped forward once more. You don't understand. That ship doesn't run. It waits. It hides in the dark until it's ready. Vyrix growled. And what do you suggest? We just surrender the galaxy to an old machine? No, Drone said. You pray it does not remember what we did. Far away in a hidden asteroid base. Captain Kale and her crew were trapped. The human ship hadn't destroyed them. Not yet. After waking, the oblivion had pulled them inside like insects caught in a storm. The inside of the ship was terrifying. Huge halls, cold air, lights that didn't flicker, just watched. Walls that moved, systems that whispered Zets. The slug engineer was shaking. This place is alive. Kale nodded slowly. No, it's worse. It's thinking. They tried. Hacking a control panel. It opened by itself. Then a voice spoke, calm, deep, mechanical, yet somehow human. Unknown crew identified. Species match. Non-human. Reason for presence. Unclear. Kale stepped forward. Act. We're scavengers. We followed your signal. Act. Voice paused. Are humans alive? Kale froze. No, she lied. They're gone. A long time ago. Silence. Then the voice returned. That is incorrect. Kale's heart skipped a beat. What? Level human signal detected. Far quadrant. Deep cloaked. Signal match. Earth origin. The crew looked at each other. Earth, Zix whispered. I thought it was destroyed. The voice spoke again. Directive resuming. Final war protocol reactivated. Hostile factions. Council of Worlds. Caravi Empire. Mercenary fleets. Kale stepped back. Wait, you're declaring war on everyone? The ship rumbled. Correct. The lights turned red. All hostiles must be neutralized. Kale screamed. We're not your enemy. But the voice didn't answer. In the council chambers, Vyrix received a new message. Audio only. It repeated 3 words. Directive re-engaged. Terminate hostiles. Attached to the message was a scan. A ship waking power readings higher than anything in known space. One delegate whispered, We must warn the colonies. Another said, No. If we do, panic will spread. Archivist drone stood once again. It's too late. It's already begun. Deep space, bounty ships closed in on the signal. 6 small cruisers, fast-armed, greedy. They found the Oblivion drifting near a dying star. No shields up. No weapons out. Looks dead, said one captain. They moved in. They never fired. They never spoke again. All 6 ships vanished in one silent second. No light. No sound. Just gone. And then, from the blackness, a voice echoed across every channel in the sector. You have been judged. In a small council outpost, a young technician whispered to her commanding officer, Sir, if this is really the old human ship, shouldn't we try to talk to it? Her superior scoffed. It's just a weapon. No soul. No mercy. But the technician shook her head. No, I think it remembers. And I think it's angry. Across the galaxy, fleets began to move. Warnings were sent. Ships gathered, but they were preparing for a war. They did not understand because this wasn't just a weapon. It was a myth, a memory, a final vengeance, and it had just declared its return. The inside of the human warship felt like a tomb cold, silent, and far too alive. Kale and her crew moved through endless corridors of black metal, lit only by dim blue lights along the floor. The ship's AI had not spoken in hours, but they felt it watching. They weren't guests. They weren't prisoners or specimens. Any idea where we are? Kale asked. Zix, connected to a wall terminal with wires running from his back, shook his head. The layout changes. Every hallway leads somewhere new or nowhere. It's adapting. Kale touched the wall. It was warm. It's like a living thing. Zix nodded. It's not just a ship. It's something else. Suddenly, a soft vibration filled the air. Then, a voice. New signal confirmed. Human identifier found. Kale froze. What? But we told you, the AI interrupted. Falsehood detected. Signal match confirmed. Earth's origin. Priority Alpha directive re-engaged. Kale stepped back. Wait, you found Earth. The AI didn't respond. Instead, deep within the core of the ship, ancient systems began to wake. Giant cylinders spun. Cold plasma reactors activated. Hundreds of weapon platforms unfolded from hidden bays. The entire ship trembled, no longer drifting, now hunting. Kale shouted, We need to get off this thing now. But it was too late. The ship launched into warp no countdown. No warning. It folded space around itself in an instant and disappeared. In a star system 3 light-years away. A massive Caravi fleet hovered in formation, more than 300 warships, fully armed. They had followed the signal trail. They had prepared. A trap. The Council had sent their finest. Dozens of species stood together. Missile cruisers, plasma destroyers, graviton cannons, all pointed toward a single empty point in space. Oblivion will arrive here, said Admiral Kren, the Caravi fleet leader, and we will destroy it. His voice carried over every ship's. Comes. This is the moment we end the human myth. Forever. Kale stumbled through the ship's corridors, thrown against a wall by the sudden jump. Zix crawled up beside her. Where are we now? The lights turned red. The AI answered calmly. Enemy. Fleet detected Caraviklas. Engaging defense protocols. No, wait, don't attack, Kale shouted. But the ship didn't listen. Outside? The void cracked open. The Oblivion arrived. Not with a bang, not with light, but with silence. And then everything changed. The Council fleet was ready, but when the Oblivion appeared, half their sensors failed. Ships lost navigation. Communication died. Targeting systems locked up, one by one. Screens flickered and died, then dashed fire. Not from the Oblivion, from the fleet. Their ships turned on each other. Weapons. Fired randomly. Cruisers spun out of control. Fighters vanished. Admiral Kren screamed into his mic. Who's attacking? Where is it? No answer. His screen showed static. Then one single phrase. Return what was taken. Inside the ship, Kale screamed, What does that mean? What did we take? The AI replied, Human sovereignty. Human peace. Human lives. Zix gasped. It's angry. No, Kale said softly. It's remembering. In under 2 minutes, the entire Caravi fleet was gone. Not destroyed by weapons, not hit by missiles, but shut down, ripped apart. Some ships drifted into each other, others melted. A few simply stopped existing, dissembled on a molecular level. By tech the galaxy didn't even understand. And through it all, the Oblivion didn't move. It just watched and remembered. A final transmission escaped the sector. A single escape pod inside. A Varnathi pilot gasped into his recorder. There's no fighting it. It doesn't see us as enemies. It sees us as intruders in its graveyard, and the feed cut. On the council homeworld, Virox listened to the report. He turned to his advisors. Nothing in our arsenal works. No weapon touches it. No ship can outrun it. It just wiped out our best in 2 minutes. Archivist Drone stepped forward. You don't understand, he said. You still think it's a ship? But this is not war. Everyone turned. This is judgment. Far away, on a dark planet cloaked from all sensors, another signal blinked for the first time in centuries. A signal from Earth. A voice old. Tired human spoke one word. Oblivion. The AI paused. Earth command. Confirmed. The course changed. The ship turned toward home. The galaxy trembled. After the annihilation of the Caravi fleet, only one thing was clear. The Oblivion was unstoppable. No one knew how it worked. No one knew how to hide from it. And now it was moving again. Not at random. Not hunting aimlessly. It was going home inside the ship. Kale and her crew were still alive, but only because the AI allowed it. They had no weapons, no control, only questions. Zix stared at the central display. It's scanning deep space sectors, looking for something. Kale stepped closer. It said it found a human signal. Maybe Earth, the AI responded. Correct. Signal matched. Earth High Command. Location: Sector 0095. Black. Destination. Set. Kale's eyes widened, but Earth was destroyed. False, the AI said calmly. Earth is hidden. Status: cloaked, active, watching. Meanwhile, across the stars, fear spread faster than light. Every major race now knew what had returned. The council called for an emergency summit. This time, no politics. No lies, just survival. High Chancellor Vyrix stood before the others, pale and shaken. We have no choice. We must stop it before it reaches Earth, one counselor said. How? You saw what happened? No ship survived. No attack worked. Vyrix pointed to the holomap. Then we use everything. We bring every fleet, every mine, every planet killer. We have. Someone whispered, You want to fight a ghost with torches? But Vyrix didn't care. He had made up his mind. If that ship reconnects with its makers, he said, we all die. 37 fleets gathered in Sector 094-Black. It was the largest force in recorded history. Over 800 ships from 12 species. They filled the system like a mechanical storm. Admirals gave orders. Weapons were armed. Giant antimatter mines were placed in orbit. Ready to explode if touched, they created a trappa, a web of destruction. And then they waited. The Oblivion arrived. No lights, no sound, just a crack in space and then it was there. The fleets didn't wait. They fired everything. Missiles, beams, plasma, graviton torpedoes. For 2 full minutes, the sky turned white. Stars dimmed, the fabric of space trembled, and then silence. The dust cleared, and the Oblivion was still there, unharmed. Not a single. Scratched Admiral Shara of the Falari Alliance stepped back in disbelief. That's impossible. And her screen turned black. A voice filled every ship. Interference detected. Threat confirmed. Countermeasures active. Within seconds, fleets began to fail. Targeting systems went offline. Engines froze. Some ships turned on their own, others banished, but one thing was clear, they never had a chance. On board the Oblivion, Kale screamed, Stop this. You don't. Have to kill them, the AI replied coldly. They attacked first. Defense protocol engaged. Hostile intent confirmed. Judgment delivered. Zix trembled. It's not just defending Earth. It's punishing the galaxy for what they did to humanity. Kale looked at the screen. Thousands of ships, gone not because of war, but because of memory. The ship remembered. Every human colony erased. Every world burned. Every lie told to cover it up back in council chambers.
Rex watched in horror.
The fleet's gone. The trap useless. He turned to the others. We've failed. It's going to reach Earth. Someone asked. What happens then? No one answered, because no one knew. Deep beneath the ice of an uncharted planet, a hidden base stirred. Long-lost humans, hidden survivors received the signal. One stepped. Forward, an old woman with scars on her face and steel in her voice. She placed her hand on a console. Oblivion, she said softly. The ship responded instantly. Earth Command identified, waiting orders. The signal was clear. Earth is not dead. Buried beneath centuries of silence, cloaked from all sensors, a secret human base lived on, hidden from enemies, hidden even from friends. And now, the most powerful weapon ever made had heard the call. The Oblivion stopped moving. Kale and Zix stood in silence as the ship's AI repeated its message. Earth Command verified. Awaiting orders. Kale blinked. You found them? The AI replied, primary directive incomplete. Awaiting confirmation. Zix looked at Kale, whispering, We're standing inside a warship built by ghosts, and now those ghosts are answering. The hidden Earth base, deep under ice and steel, a dozen human survivors gathered around the console. Their leader, Commander Leanne Ward, placed both hands on the old metal panel. Her voice was firm. Oblivion. You are ordered to disengage. War protocol. The AI hesitated. Silence then. Please confirm voice print. Leanne stepped. Closer. Authorization. Earth Command. Disengage all hostilities. This war is over. Another pause, then a soft hum, and across the galaxy. Everything stopped. The Oblivion systems powered down, its weapons folded away, its energy field dimmed, and for the first time in over 500 years, the ship went still. Kale fell to her knees, exhausted. Zix sat beside her. It's over, he whispered. But Kale stared at the dark screen ahead. No, it's just beginning. Back at the council, a single message appeared on every screen. Not from a fleet, not from a pirate, not from a spy, but from Earth. It was simple. A face appeared. CommanderLeanneWard.old.com. Unbroken, just she spoke slowly. To the Council of Worlds. We remember. Everyone leaned in. You tried to erase us. You hunted us. You lied about our extinction. But we survived. We built a warning. She paused. Oblivion was never meant to conquer. It was meant to watch, to defend. Council. Members shifted nervously. Virex leaned forward. Tense, Leanne continued. And now it has fulfilled its purpose. You attacked it. It responded. You feared it. You were right. The screen zoomed out, showing Earth alive and cloaked under layers of defense. And now we ask for silence. No ships near our borders. No council probes. No lies or oblivion. We'll return. She looked directly into the lens. And next time, we won't stop it. The screen cut. Across the stars, every fleet stood down. The council met again quiet, shamed, afraid. Virux said nothing. He stared at the table. Knowing the truth, they hadn't destroyed the humans. They had only delayed them. And now, the galaxy had seen what one forgotten warship could do. Kale and her crew were dropped safely on a neutral world. The Oblivion vanished again. One knew where. Some say it sleeps beneath the clouds of a gas giant. Others believe it still watches. Earth from the shadows, waiting. Zed later told the story to anyone who would listen, about the ship with no crew, about the mind that remembered everything, about how one voice from a buried world saved the stars from complete destruction. And across the galaxy, whenever someone dared to speak the word oblivion, they said it softly. Because now, they knew. It was listening, and they knew. The myth was real.